The world has open horizons, a mystical exploration. In the silent moments between heartbeats, there exists a world beyond perception, a realm where boundaries dissolve and the artificial constructs of human thought fall away like autumn leaves. The horizon is not a line but an invitation, not an ending but a beginning of what cannot be named or contained. The illusion of limitation. What we call reality is often merely the agreed-upon hallucination, a collective dream woven from threads of shared assumptions. The fences we build with our thoughts are phantoms, yet they become prisons more confining than any made of steel or stone. We mistake the map for the territory, the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself. The mystics of every tradition have whispered this truth, that our perception of limitation is the greatest limitation of all. When Rumi wrote of breaking the cage to release the bird of the soul, he spoke not in metaphor but in the most practical terms imaginable. When Zen masters speak of the gateless gate, they point to the paradoxical truth that the barriers we perceive exist only in our minds. The duration beyond time. Time, as we understand it, is but the thinnest slice of an eternal now. Our minds, conditioned to measure existence in linear progression, miss the oceanic depth of duration that flows beneath the surface of moments. We say now, but what is this now? Is it not already gone even as we name it? The mystical experience reveals time not as a river flowing past us, but as an infinite sea in which we are immersed. Past and future collapse into the eternal present, not as abstract concept but as lived reality. In this duration beyond time, a single breath may contain universes, and a lifetime may pass in an instant. The Desert Fathers of early Christianity spoke of this when they retreated into silence. The Sufi whirls not to escape time, but to enter fully into its infinite center. The Hindu sage sees Brahman's eternal dance in the space between thoughts. Free perspectives and the liberation of vision. To be truly free is to recognize that perspective itself is fluid, that there is no single vantage point from which to view existence. The eye that sees cannot see itself. The mind that knows cannot know itself directly. Yet in the mystical vision, subject and object dissolve into unity. This is not abstract philosophy but immediate experience. When Street Teresa of Avila described the interior castle with its many mansions, she mapped the topology of consciousness itself, the myriad perspectives available to the awakened soul. The Buddhist doctrine of emptiness, sunyata, points not to nihilism but to the infinite freedom that comes when fixed perspectives are released. Consider how a drop of water, falling into the ocean, does not lose itself but becomes the entire ocean. So too does the individual consciousness, when liberated from the illusion of separation, expand to embrace all perspectives simultaneously. The fold and the unfolding. Life is not the fold of men, you say, and herein lies profound wisdom. The fold, the compression, the reduction, the simplification of existence into digestible concepts, diminishes the immensity of what is. The mystic's path is one of unfolding, of allowing complexity to blossom rather than reducing it to what can be easily grasped. The great Kabbalistic tradition speaks of Ein Sof, the infinite divine that cannot be contained or understood through conventional thought. The Taoist sage acknowledges that The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Both point to the same truth. That which is most real cannot be folded into the confines of logical thought. Living in open horizons. How then shall we live in acknowledgement of these open horizons? Not by rejecting the world of form and appearance, but by seeing through it to the boundless reality it both conceals and reveals. The mystical path does not lead away from life but deeper into it. To live with awareness of open horizons means to approach each moment with wonder rather than presumption, with question rather than answer. It means to hold knowledge lightly, recognizing that even our most cherished truths are but perspectives, valid within their context but never absolute. The 13th century Japanese Zen master Dogen taught that to study the Buddha way is to study the self, and to study the self is to forget the self. In this forgetting, the entire universe becomes the self. This is the paradox at the heart of mystical insight. Only by releasing our limited perspective do we gain access to all perspectives. The freedom beyond freedom. The ultimate freedom is not the ability to do whatever one wishes. That is merely the freedom of the child or the tyrant. The freedom of open horizons is the freedom to see beyond seeing, to know beyond knowing, to be beyond being. This is the freedom that cannot be granted or taken away, for it exists prior to all conventional notions of liberty. It is the birthright of every conscious being, waiting to be recognized beneath the accumulated layers of conditioning and fear. The Christian mystic Meister Eckhart spoke of this when he described the breakthrough beyond both God and self into the groundless ground of being. The Hindu tradition names it moksha, liberation not as an achievement but as the recognition of what always was. The here and now as gateway. The irony of mystical insight is that this boundless realm of open horizons is accessed not by escaping the here and now, but by entering fully into it. The ordinary world, experienced without the filters of conceptual thought, reveals itself as extraordinary beyond measure. A single flower, when truly seen, contains the entire cosmos. A moment of genuine human connection, when fully experienced, transcends all separation. The taste of water, the sound of rain, the sensation of breath, each is a doorway to the infinite when approached with awakened awareness. In the end, perhaps words can only point toward these realities, creating stepping stones across the stream of understanding. The true crossing must be made in silence, in the space between words, in the gap between thoughts. For the world of open horizons exists not as concept but as lived experience, available in every moment to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. The mystic's message throughout the ages has been consistent. The prison doors are already open, the fences already fallen. We need only to recognize that we have always been free.